Okay. Hello, everyone. So today's lesson is going to go back to learning about grammar. Okay. So learning about the different verb tenses that we have. And we've talked about this one before. So we're going to talk about two today. We're going to talk about the present perfect progressive and the past perfect progressive. So there are a lot of tenses in English. So we've learned simple present tense, right? I take the bus. Present progressive tense, which is I am taking the bus, right? We've got the ing. Then we have present perfect tense, which is I have taken the bus, right? So present progressive or present perfect progressive, what is it? What does it mean? So we're going to learn how to make it. But this is a introduction. I have been walking home. So you'll see that it's different from present perfect tense because remember how we were using this special past tense verb and then we used have, and then when we would use past, we'd use had, but still use this special past verb, the past participle. Well, in this one, when we use present perfect progressive, we still say have or has, but we just always use this word been or been. I have been walking. I have been walking home. And then we do this so we're able to use a progressive verb, an ing verb. So present perfect progressive tense is used to focus on the action that, like a action, right? That happened in the past and is still happening now, right? So it focuses on how the past action is going, and still happening while you're talking to somebody or while you are saying something. So this is how you make it. So you have your subject, you use have, has, just like in present perfect tense, right? Or past perfect tense. But instead of saying, picking a verb and then changing it to its past participle, we just use the word been or been, sometimes as it's pronounced. And this is the past participle of the verb be, right? To be. So that is our special past tense verb that is going to let people know, okay, so this is a perfect tense, right? Some sort of perfect tense. And then we add our verb, and then we just have to add an ing, and that's how you make it. So I have been walking. You have your subject, I, your person or your place or your thing, have been walking. You have been walking. She has been walking. He has been walking. It has been walking. So remember, when we use the present perfect tense, right, we have to remember if we are going to say have or has, right? So that's the only difficult part about it. They have been walking. We have been walking. Okay, so this is just some kind of practice to look over. So you'll notice that my son has been working hard. The subject is my son. We use has, then been, has been, working hard. The train is the subject, right? Has been coming late, right? Coming is the verb, working is the verb. Rosa and I, we have been working through lunch. My friends and I, we have been going, right? It's the verb go, and we just put an ing at the end, to the park. Carla has been leaving early, right? Just add an ing on to leave, right? So why do we use present perfect progressive tense. So this tense is similar to present perfect tense. It means it's kind of like it, right? They're almost the same. So present perfect tense is I have worked, right? I have worked overtime. Subject, have or has, and then the past participle, right? So we have a present verb, have, a past verb, worked, right? The special past verb, past participle. But there are three parts to the present perfect progressive tense. You have the present, right? You have the special past verb, but instead of picking what kind of verb to use that you want to talk about, what action, worked, stand, left, in present perfect progressive, you always use the special past verb been. I have been, right? And then the third part of it, the last part of it, is you use a present progressive tense. So that means you don't just need have and then been. You need to have the verb that's telling us what's happening, right? So you use it to focus on the action from the past that is still happening. And that's why you use the ing, because the ing, the progressive, helps people know, okay, this verb is something that is continuous, right? It keeps going, right? So if like you felt sick last night and you feel sick this morning, you would say, I have been feeling sick since last night. I can't come in today. So this is like calling your boss and saying, I have been feeling sick since last night. I can't come in today. And so you have the subject, you have or has, right? Then feeling. And that's how you use it. And so this is letting them know, instead of saying, I felt sick last night and I feel sick this morning still, you can just say, I have been feeling sick since last night. And it lets them know, okay, they were sick last night and they kept feeling sick and they kept feeling sick and it's still happening right now, so they can't come in. Okay, so the next kind of situation is your supervisor asks why you keep showing up to work late. You could say, oh, my car has been having problems. I'm sorry. So this is letting them know, my car is what you're talking about, has been having problems. So that's letting them know it wasn't just this morning that your car had problems. It is having problems, a lot. So that's why we use it to say it this way. Your brother asks why your sister has not answered his phone calls. So you can say, oh, she has been working extra hours. So she has or have been working extra hours. So you're saying she's probably busy, right? Because if she has been working extra hours, that means she's been in the past for a while, been working, and she just keeps working those extra hours, right? So she's just busy. So now let's talk about the little things, like how to make it a negative and how to turn it into a question. So you have your subject, have, has, and then you just put not, right? So that's kind of the thing, is if you have a have or a has and you're using it for any kind of sentence, if you want to make it a negative sentence, or if you want to tell somebody like, no, that's not what's happening, you just put a not. So you could say haven't, hasn't, have not, has not. And then been with the verb and the ing. So that's all you have to do. And so remember that have not is haven't. Oh, there's that extra apostrophe there. We ignore that. So have not is haven't, has not is hasn't. So I have not been feeling sick. So let's look at that again. So I have not been, and then the verb you want to use is feel, feeling sick. Okay, so she has not been doing well. right? So this the not makes it, so instead of saying, oh, she's been doing well, she's been doing good, you're saying, oh, she has not been doing well, she hasn't been doing well. I have not been eating breakfast. They have not been coming to English class, but you guys have, it's okay, I know you have. My sister hasn't been answering my phone calls. We haven't been waiting long. So that's the other thing, is when you use have not or has not, it doesn't always mean you're telling somebody something bad. It can mean, like, for example, you're at a restaurant and the waiter comes up and they say, oh, I'm sorry for the long wait. And you can say, oh, it's okay, we haven't been waiting long. And that lets them know, oh, okay, like they're okay, they have not been waiting long. So this is just going over contractions again, right? I have is I've, you have is you've, we have, we've, they have, they've, she has, she's, it had, or he has, he's, it has, it's, have not, haven't, has not, hasn't. Okay, so this is just some practice that you can read through, pause the video and read through with contractions, right? So I've been working late is I have been working late. He's been acting strange is he is. Oh, that was the other thing that we didn't talk about with apostrophes. I guess we talked about contractions, but all of these are, it's not he's like he owns been acting strange. It's contracting, it's he is. So if you wanted to make it possessive, you don't say he's, you say his. His is the possessive verb. I probably should have gone over that yesterday, but we'll have more time. We'll relearn all of this. I kind of teach it a couple times, you know. They haven't been taking the bus. They've not been taking the bus. My friend hasn't been speaking to me, right? So those are some contraction practices. So how to make questions. So if you're going to make a question, you use have or has, the subject, and then the verb with the ing. So you just put have or has at the beginning, right? Have you been feeling sick? Has she been dating people? So you have been waiting a long time turns into have you been waiting a long time? That's what you're asking them, if they have been waiting a long time. She has been needing help. Has she been needing help? They have been getting into trouble turns into have they been getting into trouble? So you'll see that you just bloop, you put it at the front. So we've learned how to make just the regular, you know, I have been feeling sick, to making it, you know, a negative, I have not been feeling sick, to making it a question, have you been feeling sick? And so we've learned all these different ways to use the present perfect progressive, and these are the only ways you can use it, really. So that is just everything on present perfect progressive. Now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna see, I think the lesson might be too long already, but I'm gonna see if how long it is to talk about the past perfect progressive. Let's see. Let's just, I'll just go over it real quick. So we talked about present perfect progressive. Now we can talk about, maybe I shouldn't teach this at the same time. I'll just introduce you to what past perfect progressive is. So it's an action that started in the past and continued until another time in the past. So this one is handy when you want to tell somebody and emphasize that an action was happening in the past. And then it kept going until another action happened. So we've talked about, like, so the way how to make past perfect tense and how we do past perfect progressive tense, which is, I had been eating dinner before he called. So the focus is on the action continuing in this sentence. So to make it past, instead of present perfect progressive, to make it past, we just use the word had, right? That's all we have to use. And you use had with all of the different pronouns, even, I, she, and he, or he, she, and it, right? She has, he has. But when you talk about past, it's just had. I had, she had, he had, it had, we had. So you just say, I had been waiting, she had been talking, we had been working. It's the same, you just have to change one thing. The bus had been running late the day I woke up late. My husband had been working late. So what does it mean? So if you said I had been using the bathroom when they knocked on the door, this is, so the present perfect progressive is when you're talking to someone, it lets them know that the action in the past continued. It kept going and going and going, even to right now, and it could still be happening, right? But when you use the past perfect progressive, right? I had been working, or I had been talking. It's like when you talk to somebody and you're telling them a story and you're talking about something that happened in the past, but you want to focus on how, on this story that you're talking about, or this event, this thing that happened, you want to focus that there was an action that kept going, right? So I had been using the bathroom when they knocked on the door means that both of those things happened at the same time. So they were going, but they happened in the past. So that's how it's kind of different. So why do we use it? So it talks about two actions in the past, but focuses how the first action was continuing when the second action happened. I had been driving to work when my son called me. So think of this as like a timeline. So here is the present right here, and this is all the past. So I had been driving to work is all of these X's, right? Because it goes and goes. I had been driving because I used driving, ing. Something in the past, I had been driving, so I kept driving. And my son called me. So this is why we use it, because you're talking about like two events that are happening in the past. One is happening while the other one happened, right? So one action is continuing while another like single event happened, right? My son called me. So you're talking about, when you tell your story, use the progressive tense to say, oh, I had been doing something, I had been doing an action, and then something else happened at the same time while I was doing that action. So to make it negative, you just, again, instead of saying had been, you say had not been, hadn't. I had not been sleeping. Had not is hadn't, if it's a contraction, or you could just say had not, hadn't. So I'd been working late, is I had been working late. We hadn't been gone long, which is had not. She had is she'd not been taking her medicine. So how to make questions. Again, you just put had at the beginning. Instead of saying she had been trying to call you, to make it a question, we say, had she been trying to call you? They had been waiting for a long time. Had they been waiting for a long time? So that's how we turn it into a question. And so that's it for the lesson today. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope that you guys have a good weekend. There won't be a lesson on Monday because it's President's Day. And the place I work doesn't have us teach on like bank holidays. So there'll be no lesson on Monday, but I will send you a new lesson on Tuesday.